Hi, I am trying out the new interface, and as you can see, it actually seems to be working for me, which is a nice change. I have killed pretty much everything else I usually run, with the exception of the video capture, and I've upgraded that from Camcordia. I only seem to have one problem at the moment. I wanted to try a triple gate crash draft, and I seem to be the only person interested in doing so. So I think what I'm going to do is get out of this and try again later at some point. So if I remember correctly, the way to drop from this is to close this. Sure you want to leave the tournament? Yes, leave. And I get my entry fee back. So, for that matter, what else do we have? Don't want gate crash, don't want founder masters. I can play with these. Oh, what the heck, I have 3 boosters, I believe. Just 8 players needed in that, probably not too exciting. Seal deck all. And interesting, it doesn't have a filter for the release queues, which almost makes sense. Let's knock down that and see if we can get this to change. It is still attempting to find these, so as you can see, it's still a little slow loading queues and so forth. Oh, I know what my problem is. Never mind. I'm in the wrong room. I need to go to release queues. And then we'll look at that. Six times gate crash? Is there really a 6 gate crash? Or gate crash, never mind. There. Look at those 3. Alright, it says that we need just 2. I'll probably edit some of this out, but let's take a look. And we'll join up. We need 1 more for the draft. We need 2 more for the draft. Seems unlikely that I scared the other person away. We have a draft. All right. Let's make this full screen. Well, I actually had a lot of fun drafting that. Generally, I wind up in 3 colors. The other cards that are particularly good in this, nothing here really leaps out, so I think I'm just going to take... See, used to the other drafting, if I left click it, it will reserve this. So this is what I'm going to take when I run out of time. If I right click it, I can pull it down. It should be the size slider. There. All right. Well, it's a critter. If I go green-red or green-black, I might get a little larger. I actually love drafting gatekeepers and gates, uh, although people are beginning to see how to do that pretty well. But right now, our gatekeeper that can kill my opponent's creatures is high on the list. But what the heck? I expect that this is going to crash halfway through, so I'm not taking this very seriously. We'll just rare draft. But this is probably my second choice. Gelatin Sphinx is actually really tough to get through. If I were in blue-white, Steeple Rock Sphinxes, Maze Gliders, you can actually do pretty well in blue-white flyers. There's an uncommon 3/2 hexproof guy. It's also worth looking at. Back and Call is very good. It's actually great if you can support all these colors. But right now I am, let's make these a little larger. I am green-black. I'm not blue. I'm not white. Had I taken the Gelatin Sphinx last turn, that would have made a lot of sense. On the other hand, there is no good green or black here except maybe Morgburst, which is marginal. So, we're just rare drafting at this point until we figure out what's going on. Yeah, the Gelatin Sphinx would have made this really nice. But we can pick up some other stuff. Of course, the birds will never evolve the Renegade Krasis, but we'll see how this goes. Well, my idea of taking a whole bunch of guild gates and gatekeepers, the guild gate is already gone, so I think somebody else is doing that. Phyto Burst isn't too good. Gleam of Battle is too expensive. I've never had it actually work that well. Man, it's looking like what we have here is the Maze Sentinels are pretty much the best card here. So I think I'm going to now be looking at blue, black, green, and I better get myself some mana fixing because I'm probably out in round 1. But I think that's probably where we're going to wind up going. Well, there's a guild gate, which would help a lot. So my choices are the guild gate. The snare squad is much better in an aggressive deck, and I think I'm probably going to wind up being slower and fatter. The armored wolf rider is actually tempting, just because he's large and gums up the ground, and I'm probably going to wind up with a few flyers with the maze glider and other stuff. But at this point, I'm really leaning towards the guild gate. I do like the fact that I can left click and then wait while my time runs out, which of course you could do in the old set, but this seems to work fairly well. I've Liv's Decree really only works if you're in fast sets or with a really fast deck. Alright, what have we got? The Maze Behemoth is fine. Protect and Serve. If I middle click, does it twist and show? Yes, it does. Some things still work the same. Protect is actually useful. Serve, not so much. But Maze Behemoth, of course, will grow my Renegade Krasis. So I think my choice is between Protect and Serve, Guild Gate, Maze Behemoth. I'm not going to... No, let's stick something on just in case I keep talking through. Not playing any of these. Pilfered Plans is okay, but I don't know that I want to go that many colors. And I guess I made my choice. Well, there's a Gatekeeper. Should have taken the Guild Gate. My choices really come down to Steeple Rock, since I have one white card and I'm already 3 other colors, and the Gatekeeper. The Gatekeeper is a stronger card, And then Down and Dirty just isn't good enough for the mana. The Gatekeeper is great at slowing down rush decks, and if you can get the guild gates, also killing something is extremely useful. It'll kill the Steeple Rock if that's what we end up with. Well, I think what this comes down to is either the Hired Torturer. Now, there's a chance we may just dump Beck and Call here. Right now, we have green-black. So the Hired Torturer does gum up the ground and stop all the Riot Pikers and so forth. The other options would be one of the Clue Stones. Azorius Clue Stone, if we're actually thinking that someday we may want to play this and get to 8 mana. I don't think I'm going to be these colors, and I haven't found the use for that guy as much. Weapon Surge is fine, but the one color I'm not is red. Again, Decree is not what we want. It's either the Snare Squad or the Clue Stone, and I can always get more Clue Stones. I can always get more of... Let's begin fixing our mana. Okay. This I have actually had great luck with in certain games, but I don't really want to pick it high, and I don't really need it. I don't need either one of these Clue Stones because I don't need red. So it's pretty much the Maze Glider, because after all, you really want a huge pile of 6 drops. But we may play 1 or 2. I'm just going to try moving 1 into the sideboard for now. So one of the nice things is you can actually put 1 in the sideboard if you want. Up here, I really am not a big fan of any of these. You can build a really fast deck around Riot Pikers and the 3/1 Goblin and so forth. But I've never been thrilled with it. Well, Orzhov Clue Stone or Maze Sentinel. Do I need yet another Sentinel? This guy's great at gumming up the ground, but I think we'll take the Clue Stone. When they're all bad, take the rare. It's worth 2 cents more than the others, and I'm not going to play any of these. And again, there aren't enough tokens in Wake to make Wake the Reflections work. And there I got one of those. So this can go to the sideboard, this can go to the sideboard. This definitely goes to the sideboard. So, what have we got this time around? That's not bad. This is actually a decent removal. This is good removal, fair. Okay, Notion Thief is my rare. I don't want that. I don't really want the Beetle Form Mage. Fatal Fumes, Thrashing Moss Dog, because I need another 4-drop, but if I end up white, the Gatekeepers actually are a pretty good too. But I think... How much blue am I actually going to play? This guy's great if you can sustain blue. Excuse me. Not if you can't. I think the Moss Dog is the most certain to see play. Fatal Fumes is, again, it's removal against a lot of the things you need to remove, but it's kind of expensive. Thrashing Moss Dog it is. It's not the color Guildgate I want. Scarab Clan Giant. Fights at random. Tithe Drinker. My main colors are black, green, splash blue. So I don't really want a Windrake because that's probably not going to hit on turn 3. This is most likely to hit on turn 3. And then the Guild Gate is a second option if it wasn't the off color. Tithe Drinker may be the best common around in this set, but I'm not really white yet, despite the random clue stones. I think we're just going to take the Drake and beat down with that. Although this guy here is awfully good. But again, I'm not green. She is also extremely good if you can get to 7 mana. But I take that back. Not extremely good. She's a very difficult to deal with creature if you get to that point. Not a rare I really want to... oh boy. Turn and Burn is great. This one is actually good too. Let's tag that while I take a look. Summoner is really expensive. Zerta Druid is actually very good if you're those colors, gives you a lot of reach. First Blade is great if you're fast beatdown, but I just haven't seen that deck here yet. I think it comes down to Crawl Warrior or Far and Away. The away part, the Far and Away, I'm going to splash blue, although I should really start paying attention to Simic lands. But it is really useful to bounce those pesky enchantments and or bounce a creature out from under, I should say. It's also really nice to have the sack. Turn and Burn is a better way to deal with like Tesla or something, but this is good enough. Alright, so what do I have? Warp Physique. Solid removal, but am I going to keep my hand full? That's harder to say. Again, another Beetle Form Mage. White is going to be at best a splash for 1 card, and possibly not even that. Blue will be a splash. I'm tempted to splash it for the removal here, but again, I'm not sure if my hand will stay full. I think I just need the beatdown creature. That's tough. The Guild Gates are disappearing fast enough that I don't know that I can count on having Warp Physique early enough that I still have cards in my hand. Alright, I used to have the random rule never path some mythic, but Battering Krasis looks fine. Corzota Gorgon is actually quite nice, although I have very few multicolored cards. I will have a bunch of things. I think the Battering Krasis here, fitting the curve a little better. The other possibility would be the Golgari Guildgate, which... yeah, I want the Guildgate. I'm in pack 2. I already have 1 Gatekeeper. As much as I want the Krasis, maybe I'll get a Miracle and it'll come back. But, there's a Crawl Warrior, which is good. What do I have that cares about bouncing in and out? Not much yet. This being a 6/6 for 5 mana is actually fairly nice. Again, it's the blue. What I probably should be taking is the Crawl Warrior so that I have something early. Yeah, I gotta take the Crawl Warrior. My curve starts at 2 and I only have really 1, or 3 and only 1 creature that can block. I would just get run down by the fast decks. As much as I want the Species Gorger, maybe he'll come back. If this were an instant, I'd be very happy with Fido Burst, but it's not. No, no, no. Do I actually want the Bane Alley Blackguard? More as a sideboard card against the really fast decks. Which would be more useful, that or the Maze Sentinel? I think this guy. Well, I guess I get another chance at this. So my choices are the Species Gorger, which would be much better if I had more gatekeepers, or Protect and Serve. Both of which have some value. But both blue and white are going to be splashed probably off a keystone. White, there will probably be very little. Farseek, if anything. So let's get the Species Gorger. Add that to the list. Alright, I will have one creature that will probably have +1/+1 counters on it, so this is not going to do anything. Which is better, the Golgari Cluestone or the Dimir Cluestone? Maybe the Dimir, because the blue is my splash color and be easier to get that way. Boros Cluestone is almost certainly not happening. Beetleform Mage. Yeah, I just don't see it. And Orzhov Cluestone can get out of here. Steeple Rock. This is actually, the life gain is not terribly useful. The Steeple Rock, I don't really want to play against it. If I can splash it, that's fine. The flyer is nice, actually. Alright, Crawl Warrior is definitely getting in the deck. We got a Dimir Cluestone, so let's add a Golgari Cluestone. Don't really care about the Murmuring Phantasm. If somebody plays those, I can probably get around it. I can make my guys extremely big if I get Vardoz out. Not playing that. Not playing red. I have never had this be a particularly good card, but excuse me, it's what we have. And sideboard. Probably sideboard. Restore the piece goes away. Alright. Gatekeeper, Maze Abomination. That's actually a very good rare. It's really useful to have the Blood Rush effects, but that's not the colors I'm in. Battering Krasis looks very tempting. Gatekeepers look very useful. The Guild Gate looks really good. And the Maze Abomination looks really good. But you know, if there's a chance I'm splashing white, I'm going to take the Guild Gate because the dang things just aren't showing up. This guy's great if you have a gate, and Maze Abomination is fine, but I really don't need more 6s. So let's start out with this. We'll drop a Cluestone. Yeah. Battering Krasis is probably a better pick, but you know. Alive and Well is actually a lot of fun if you're those colors, although it's not exceptional. Deadbridge Chant. Okay, I think that's the pick for a couple reasons. First of all, it's a mythic, and I need one. But if you get to that point, and my deck is fairly defensive with the Torturers, the Gatekeepers, some larger creatures. Now, Deadbridge Chant and Varloz alls sort of work against each other, but it doesn't matter too much. Spike Gesture's really nice in an aggro deck, and it's one of the reasons I want the Crow Warriors. Alright, no, maybe, no, no can be fine. Still don't really want this. I may just go for the gate, just to turn on my gatekeeper. I can play this in lieu of a force. I'm not super fast. I like having additional gates. I already have a Maze Behemoth, and the Maze Sentinel will probably come back around. Not great, but we're going to go that route. Catch. Not red. Right, Demir's a possibility. Maze Behemoth I have. Crawl Warrior. It's Crawl Warrior or Dimir Guildgate. Let's fix the colors. Now, of course, I won't see any more gatekeepers because, well, that might actually be the solution, or possibly another Maze Glider. This is a gatekeeper, but it's a terrible gatekeeper. I better put my click on something. I'm not going to have enough blue to expect him to come out early. And I just don't know on this one if it's worth trying to fill up my library. It's a great combo if I already have Deadbridge Chant in play, but maybe in constructed. We'll take the give and take. Nothing but the bad gatekeepers. Actually, this is a fairly decent gatekeeper, but so my choice is Fatal Fumes or Steeple Rock. Probably going to play the Azorius Cluestone. How much white do I have? 1, 2 white sources. Going to throw in a few lands. Tithe Drinker is better than Steeple Rock. Fatal Fumes is probably better than Tithe Drinker, but I really would like to get something lower in my curve, even if the odds are the mana's going to get screwed up. But Rakdos Striker, Fatal Fumes again. Now let's take the Fatal Fumes. Assuming that I somehow get Deadbridge Chant down, being able to reuse that would be fine. Okay, no, I'm not splashing. I'm certainly not going to have blue-white routinely available. Don't want either of those. Cluestones, Crypt Incursion, no. So, that's the only one left. Well, this is an interesting choice. Do I go for the Opal Lake Gatekeepers or the Maze Abomination? I have a couple of very high-end cards, which should do fine. So I think I want the Gatekeeper here because I have some blue already with the Keystone and that. We're going to get that out of here. And I'll put in some blue lands, and best case scenario would be something dumb like Species Gorger bouncing the Gatekeeper. Two, three, four, five. So we're at 23 right now. Excuse me. don't want any of these. Get out of here. All right, showstopper goes away. And we have 30 cards right now. You guys can get a little bigger. Yeah, my curve looks amazing. This is technically over in the 8s. But I have 5 gates. It looks like I've got 3 green out of this mess. 4 green, 1 white, 1 blue, 2 black. And who cares about the red? So I need to cut 2 cards. It's kind of nice that all the work I did during this stays. Okay, I don't know. I've never played this card. Let's try cutting a clue stone. Now, second thought, look at my curve. I could use the clue stones. Can use the color fixing. What are going to have counters on it, other than just playing this as a 6 mana, draw 3 cards? This is the only card that may have counters on it. And of course I'll evolve all my other evolved creatures, which I didn't get any of. So it's Rakdos Drake will be the only other creature with counters on it. I guess the other question is this creature worth playing? It's my only double green. I have to cut something. Beck and Call at 8 mana. Higher Torturer probably comes out if they are not a fast deck, but otherwise I think I need it in there. 3 big, or 4/6 drops. Deadbridge Chant's pretty nice, but which one of these don't I want? That guy's interesting. What can I bounce that I'd actually want to bounce? Really, it comes down to the 2 gatekeepers. I think I'm cutting this guy because I have a very high curve already. I don't know that I need more upper end guys. Of course, how do I win? Slow beat down and then eventually Varzov throwing stuff on top. Rot Farm actually works very well with Varzov. Var-Ols, if I pronounce it correctly. So where are we at right now? 6 minutes left. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 23 cards main deck, including 2 clue stones. That looks okay. Adding lands. Where's the add basic lands? Up here. And they suggest 4. That would be 5 for the white. I need 1. Excuse me. I think I got the headset off in time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. That I think I want to. And that's 7 black. How many blue? 1, 2, 3 blue. That's. I want 1 more. What do I want to get rid of? 1, 2, 6. This is a green 2, so can I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. I do want early green, but I think seven black. The Renegade Crisis may be a problem here, and maybe I should have played the Bounced Species Gorger over that. We'll have to see, but I'm thinking 5 minutes left. 12, 17 gives me 5 white sources, and I need a white source. I can cut 1 white source. That's 5 white sources, and my white is Tithe Drinker, which could become a problem for me, and up here. Then seven black, and I need black for Tithe Drinker and these guys. You know, if I were still playing the Species Gorger, maybe as good as Tithe Drinker is in the long game, maybe this guy is just better. Just because if I want to slow decks, and if I, God, this guy's terrible. But I don't want to lose fast. And the odds of having both white and black early before the clue stones hit are 2. Let's do this, and then we will submit. I think nowadays submit means I'm done. Oh, no, okay. I can still edit. But I think I'm going to quit here, and I'll be back when we get to game 1. And match 1's probably all that's going to happen.